Welcome to Sci-Fi Bedtime Stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss new stories. Welcome to Sci-Fi Bedtime Stories. Please like and subscribe for more interstellar tales. Embrace the listening experience. The piercing alarms clawed through the sterile halls of Alpha 9, the galaxy's ultimate prison. Anthony Stark's heart hammered against his ribs as he sprinted, his physique barely restrained by the prison garb. Years he'd dedicated to this moment, meticulously crafting his escape. "Stark, halt!" a guard barked, his laser rifle locked on Anthony's back. He grinned, ignoring the threat. "Sorry, buddy, I've got a date with destiny." With effortless grace, he vaulted a security barricade, his enhanced reflexes, a ghost of his Space Marine days, gifting him an advantage. The guard's shot seared the wall where Anthony's head had been moments earlier. Rounding the corner, Anthony spotted his prize, the escape pods. He'd sabotaged the security protocols, patiently awaiting the perfect moment. Now, amidst the chaos, that moment blazed. Anthony slammed his palm on the launch panel. The door hissed open, and he dove inside as a fresh wave of laser fire erupted. The pod sealed, and Anthony punched in the launch sequence. "So long, suckers," he muttered, a triumphant grin spreading as the pod rocketed from Alpha 9. His victory was short-lived. Alarms screamed within the tiny craft, warning of a catastrophic failure. His eyes widened. They'd damaged the pod. The navigation was toast, and he was hurtling through space, lost. "Well," Anthony growled, strapping himself in as the pod bucked violently. He gritted his teeth as it plunged into an unknown planet's atmosphere. Flames licked the view screen. The final thing he saw before impact was a blur of emerald vegetation. Anthony groaned, head throbbing. He blinked, focusing. The escape pod lay shattered. Smoke billowed. Somehow, he'd survived. His vision cleared, and he stared into a captivating pair of eyes, a mesmerizing shade of emerald, set in a face of breathtaking beauty. "And that face is green," Anthony mumbled, still stunned. "Are you an angel?" A melodious laugh filled the air. "I don't know what an angel is, but I assure you, I'm real." Anthony shook his head, clearing his mind. He focused on the figure before him, a green-skinned woman, her curves defying description. She wore iridescent leaves, clinging to her form. "I'm Roxy," she said, helping him stand. "You're the first human I've ever seen." "What's your name, stranger?" Anthony flashed his most charming smile, ignoring the pain. "Anthony Stark, and I've always thought green was my favorite. Now I'm certain." Roxy's cheeks deepened in color. "Blushing? Are you always this direct?" "Only when I meet beautiful women on strange planets," Anthony replied, winking. "After narrowly escaping death, I might add." He winced. "Where am I?" "Zen 3, Roxy explained, guiding him away from the wreckage. "We don't get visitors, especially skyfallers." "Am I in trouble?" Anthony chuckled, wincing. "What gave it away? The dramatic landing or the dashing looks?" Roxy giggled, music to his ears. "Both, actually. Come on, let's get you safe. Tell me about your planet, Earth. I'm curious." Through the lush alien landscape, Anthony marveled at his luck. He had a gorgeous guide. "So, Roxy," Anthony said, his charm returning, "do you often shelter stranded criminals? Or am I special?" Roxy raised an eyebrow, green lips curving in a smile. "Space criminal? Intriguing. I'm a misunderstood hero," Anthony corrected with a wink. "Dangerous only to those who deserve it. And apparently, myself." They reached a dwelling carved into a luminous tree. "Welcome," Roxy said, helping Anthony inside. "It's safe, with a great view." "Triple moons," Anthony whistled, admiring the architecture. "Beautiful, like its owner." Roxy blushed again. "You're direct, huh? Isn't that how humans connect?" Anthony chuckled, sinking into a chair that molded perfectly to his form. "So what mysteries of Earth pique your interest?" Roxy's eyes ignited with eager anticipation. "Everything. But especially, how do humans seek out partners? What are your romantic customs?" Anthony sputtered, caught off guard. "Whoa, straight to the heart of it. Usually it begins with a date. Often a meal, bathed in candlelight. Perhaps some dancing." "That sounds enchanting," Roxy murmured, leaning nearer. "And then what unfolds?" Anthony's pulse quickened with her closeness. A fragrance, like exotic blossoms and sweet fruits, enveloped him. "Well, that hinges on how the evening progresses. Sometimes a goodnight kiss. Other times, more intimate exchanges." Roxy's eyes widened further. "More like what?" "Let's just say it involves quite a bit of hands-on biological exploration," Anthony quipped with a playful smirk. Roxy clapped her hands, her face radiant. "Oh, I adore biology. Might you perhaps instruct me sometime?" Anthony felt a wave of disbelief. Stranded on an alien world, a fugitive, yet he was being courted by the most stunning woman he had ever encountered, green skin and all. "I would be absolutely delighted to provide you with a comprehensive education," he vowed, his voice deepening to a husky timbre. "But first, I really must explain my rather abrupt arrival. It's a rather lengthy saga." Roxy settled beside him, her presence radiating an intoxicating warmth. "I have an abundance of time, Anthony, and I assure you, I am a most attentive student." As Anthony began to unravel the narrative of his unjust confinement and audacious escape, he couldn't shake the feeling that his fortunes were finally shifting. Yes, he was still a wanted man, marooned on an alien planet, but with Roxy beside him, the future suddenly gleamed with far greater promise. "So there I was," Anthony declared, punctuating his words with a dramatic flourish. "Surrounded by guards, with naught but my sharp intellect and undeniably striking features to secure my freedom." Roxy absorbed his tale with rapt fascination, and as the alien sun dipped below the horizon, casting the chamber in a soft, otherworldly glow, Anthony realized that perhaps, just perhaps, his crash landing on Zen 3 was a cosmic blessing in disguise. As the first pearly light of Zen 3's triple suns filtered through the shimmering leaves of Roxy's arboreal home, Anthony stirred, his body still protesting the harsh impact of the crash. Yet a smile graced his lips as he recalled his surroundings and his companion. "Good morning, fugitive," Roxy's lilting voice greeted him. She appeared at the entrance, bearing what resembled a glowing violet fruit. "I've brought your breakfast. It's a goral fruit, wonderfully beneficial for recovery." Anthony sat up, regarding the fruit with mild apprehension. "Thank you, my dear, but I'm uncertain if my terrestrial stomach is quite prepared for extraterrestrial fare." Roxy's expression softened with concern. "Oh, I hadn't considered that. My apologies." "Hey, don't fret," Anthony interjected, offering his most disarming smile. He accepted the fruit, taking a bite and discovering a surprisingly pleasant, zesty taste. Delightful. Almost as sweet as you." Roxy's cheeks flushed a deep emerald hue. "You truly are incorrigible, aren't you?" "A key element of my allure," Anthony replied with a knowing wink. As he ate, his thoughts churned. He needed to initiate his investigation into the conspiracy that led him to Alpha 9, yet he couldn't ignore his burgeoning feelings for Roxy. "So any chance you could grant me a tour of your world? It might illuminate my next course of action." Roxy's eyes sparkled. "I would be thrilled, but first, you owe me more details about Earth's customs, particularly." She leaned in, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "It's mating rituals." Anthony nearly choked on his goral fruit. "Right, that. Well, on Earth, we typically commence with something we call dating. Two individuals with mutual interest embark on shared activities." "Such as?" Roxy inquired, her curiosity palpable. "Oh, you know, dining. Cinema outings, leisurely strolls along the shore, Anthony offered, his mind actively seeking parallels for this alien world. Tell me, do you have shores here on Zen 3? Roxy nodded eagerly. We have the crystal shores. The sands shift in hue with the ebb and flow of the tides. I could escort you there. Sounds utterly perfect, Anthony declared, rising and stretching. Lead the way, beautiful. As they journeyed through the vibrant alien terrain, Anthony found himself captivated by the beauty surrounding him, both the planet's splendor and his guides. Roxy pointed out various flora and fauna, her enthusiasm proving infectious. And that's a shimmerfly, she indicated, gesturing towards a creature resembling a fusion of a butterfly and a jellyfish. They possess bioluminescent qualities and are utterly mesmerizing. Much like everything else on this planet, Anthony concluded, his gaze fixed on Roxy rather than the insect. Roxy blushed anew, her eyes alight with playful mischief. You know, Anthony, on Zen 3, such overt flirtation is considered an invitation to courtship. Anthony raised a questioning eyebrow, a broad grin spreading across his face. Is that so? And what would be the subsequent step in such an invitation? Well, Roxy responded, stepping closer. Typically, the parties involved would engage in a ceremonial dance. So you want to dance to test physical compatibility, huh? Anthony chuckled softly. I'm a bit clumsy, but I'll give it a try. Roxy's face bloomed with delight. Really? Oh, this will be amazing. Before he could react, she'd taken his hands, initiating a dance of intricate steps. Her body swayed in a way that seemed impossible, her verdant skin glistening under the alien sun. Anthony struggled to keep up, his movements awkward. He nearly tripped, but Roxy caught him with unexpected strength. Sorry, he gasped, winded. Alien dancing might not be my forte. Roxy's laughter chimed like bells. It's sweet watching you try. Now tell me more about how humans express interest. He launched into stories of earthly courtship, from silly lines to sweeping gestures. Roxy listened intently, asking questions that made him blush. This kissing? She questioned, brow furrowed. You press your mouths together? Doesn't that seem unhygienic? Anthony laughed. Trust me, with the right person, hygiene is the last thing on your mind. They reached the crystal shores. The sand shifted colors from deep purple to radiant gold. The waves whispered against the shore. Anthony whistled in appreciation. This, he breathed, would be a fantastic first date. Roxy tilted her head. Date? Like one of those courtship activities? Exactly, Anthony said, an idea sparking. In fact, let's consider this our first date. I'll show you Earth customs. Roxy's eyes widened. Oh yes, please. The next few hours were a crash course in human romance. He held her hand as they walked, teaching her to skip stones across the shimmering water. As the suns began to set, painting the sky in a blaze of color, Anthony drew Roxy close. And this, he whispered, is how we end a perfect first date on Earth. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to choose, but she didn't pull away. Their lips met, and electricity surged through him. Her lips were softer than he imagined, with a subtle, exotic flavor. When they finally separated, Roxy's eyes held wonder. Oh my, she sighed. I think I like Earth customs. Anthony grinned. Just wait for second dates. As they returned to her home, his mind drifted to the conspiracy that had brought him to Alpha 9. He needed to investigate, but hesitated to involve Roxy. Hey Roxy, he said casually. Do you happen to have access to galactic news networks? I need to check something. Roxy nodded. Of course. We have an info hub in the village center. I can take you tomorrow. Hope stirred. Maybe he could uncover the truth. The next day, on the way to the info hub, Anthony noticed the stairs. Some were curious, others wary. Ignore them, Roxy murmured. We don't get many off-worlders. They're just not used to someone so pink. Anthony chuckled. I thought my charm was turning heads. At the info hub, he quickly began searching. Roxy watched, fascinated, as his fingers flew across the interface. You're really good at that, she remarked. Part of my appeal, he replied, his focus intense. Suddenly his eyes widened. Wow, what is it? Roxy asked, leaning closer. He pointed to an article. This, a high-ranking official in the Galactic Security Council is accused of corruption. This could be what I need. Lost in the article, he missed the growing commotion outside. It wasn't until Roxy tugged his arm that he looked up. Anthony, she said, her voice laced with fear. I think we have a problem. He followed her gaze. Outside, armed figures in black armor approached. They're not the local law enforcement. Bounty hunters, Anthony growled. My past has caught up to me. Roxy's eyes widened. What do we do? His mind raced. He made a choice. We run, he said, taking her hand. I'm so sorry, but I need to leave. I can't put you in danger. As they slipped out the back, his heart pounded. He'd found vital evidence, but at what cost? And how could he protect Roxy while His investigation, now a desperate race. Anthony realized his survival, and perhaps the galaxy's, hung in the balance. A faint hope flickered. Maybe he'd get that second date with Roxy. Through Zen 3's winding paths, Anthony and Roxy bolted, his heart pounding. Footsteps and harsh commands echoed, drawing nearer. This way, Roxy hissed, pulling him into a shadowy alley. They clung to the glowing walls, breath held as bounty hunters thundered past. Close one, Anthony whispered, eyes locked on Roxy's. Even in the dimness, her green skin seemed to radiate an ethereal beauty. Sorry I dragged you into this. Roxy's smile was mischievous. Excitement? This is the most fun I've had in ages. Then with a hushed voice, dangers. Thrilling. Anthony's pulse quickened, not just from the chase. You're full of surprises. You have no idea, she replied with a wink. The coast is clear. Crystal caves? They offer cover and could mess with trackers. Racing toward the village's edge, Anthony's mind raced. He needed to clear his name, expose the Galactic Council's rot, but first, they needed to vanish. The crystal caves loomed, their surfaces dazzling in alien sunlight. Incredible, Anthony breathed, echoing in the crystalline space. Roxy beamed with pride. A Zen 3 wonder. The crystals, special properties. Before he could ask, footsteps echoed. Alarm flashed in Roxy's eyes. They're coming! Hide! No cover, Anthony exclaimed. A sly smile spread across Roxy's face. Not necessarily. The crystals, watch. Anthony gaped as her skin shimmered, changing color, perfectly blending with the walls. Within seconds, she was gone. Only an outline visible. Holy, Anthony gasped. Camouflage? Zen 3 natives can. Her disembodied voice echoed. Evolution. Now hold still. A tingle spread over Anthony's skin. His body began to mirror the crystals. I can change yours too, Roxy explained. But stay still. They froze as bounty hunters entered. Anthony held his breath as the hunters scanned. No sign, one growled. These crystals interfere with our equipment. Search harder, another ordered. As the hunters advanced, relief flooded Anthony. Incredible, he whispered. You're amazing, Roxy. A warm hand found his. You're not so bad for a space criminal, she teased. Let's go. Outside the caves, Anthony's thoughts returned to the conspiracy. I must transmit what I know to the right authorities, but official channels are compromised. Roxy brightened. I have an idea. An old abandoned communications array exists on the planet's far side. We can send a secure, untraceable message. Anthony grinned. Roxy, you're brilliant. Lead the way. Their journey was riddled with danger. Anthony explained the conspiracy. So this Darius Vex, Galactic Council member, is working with criminals? Roxy asked as they trekked through an alien forest. Anthony nodded. He's taken bribes for smuggling operations. Framed me to silence me. Roxy's eyes narrowed. We must expose him. That's the plan, Anthony said. If we can get the message out, it should trigger an investigation. Vex has powerful friends. A sleek black ship descended, engines roaring. Vex's personal enforcers. Anthony snarled, Run! They dashed through the dense foliage, narrowly evading searing energy blasts that ignited the alien vegetation. Anthony's combat instincts took over as he dodged and weaved, pulling Roxy along. The array is just ahead, Roxy yelled above the cacophony. We're almost there! They burst into a sun-drenched clearing, the colossal crumbling communications array dominating the scene. Anthony's hope surged, but it vanished instantly. A dozen armed soldiers blocked their path, weapons aimed. Nowhere left to run, Stark, a gruff voice boomed. A tall, scarred man emerged, a cruel smirk twisting his face. Vex sends his regards. Anthony's mind frantically sought an escape. He met Roxy's gaze, his desperation evident. To his astonishment, she appeared remarkably composed, even confident. Trust me, Roxy whispered, her fingers tightening around his. I've got this. Before Anthony could utter a word, Roxy stepped forward, her hips swaying with captivating grace. She met the mercenary's eyes, her voice a husky murmur. Gentlemen, surely we can resolve this without bloodshed. Let's converse like civilized beings. The scarred leader scoffed, yet several of his men lowered their weapons, visibly captivated by Roxy's otherworldly allure. What's there to discuss, Greenie? The leader growled. Roxy's lips curved into a playful smile. Oh, I assure you, we can find something quite fascinating to explore. In fact, I'm eager to demonstrate a unique Zen 3 welcome. It's rather intimate. She sauntered towards them, her emerald skin shimmering under the alien sun. Anthony watched, a mixture of tension and bewilderment washing over him as Roxy reached the soldiers. Suddenly, Roxy exhaled sharply, releasing a cloud of dazzling, iridescent pollen. The mercenaries recoiled, coughing and sputtering as the spores took hold. Within moments, they swayed unsteadily, their eyes vacant. Incredible, Anthony breathed, gazing at Roxy with stunned admiration as she returned to his side. What in the stars was that? Roxy winked, a spark of pure mischief in her gaze. Hypnotic pollen, one of Zen 3's natural defenses. I did mention I was full of surprises. Anthony shook his head, a grin spreading across his face despite the peril. I'll remember that, and never cross you. Now what? Roxy inquired, taking his hand. We flee. This effect is temporary. They sprinted towards the communications array, leaving the disoriented soldiers behind. As they ran, Anthony couldn't help but be awestruck by the remarkable woman beside him, wondering what other marvels she possessed. Almost there, he muttered, perspiration beading on his forehead. Just a little longer. A blast of energy seared the console mere inches from Anthony's hand. He spun around to see Darius Vex himself, standing at the clearing's edge, flanked by a new contingent of mercenaries. I must confess, Stark, I'm rather impressed, Vex drawled, his refined features contorted into a sneer. You've certainly put us through a chase, but your journey ends now. Anthony moved protectively in front of Roxy, shielding her. It's finished, Vex. The message is dispatched. Your treachery will be laid bare. Vex let out a cold, hollow laugh. Fool! You truly believe your paltry evidence will make a dent? Half the council is in my payroll. This changes nothing. Perhaps not, a new voice declared. Anthony turned to behold dozens of Zen 3 inhabitants emerging from the forest, guided by their revered elders. But perhaps the testimony of an entire world might carry some significance. Vex's face drained of color as he realized he was encircled. The mercenaries, vastly outnumbered and outmatched by the Zen 3 natives' innate capabilities, quickly yielded. In the ensuing calm, as galactic peacekeepers arrived to apprehend Vex, Anthony found himself alone with Roxy at the clearing's edge. "So," he began, a tremor of uncertainty in his tone, "I suppose this is it. My name is cleared. The villains are apprehended. A happy conclusion, wouldn't you say?" Roxy moved closer, her green eyes alight with playful mischief and something far deeper. "Not quite," she murmured. "I believe you still owe me that second encounter." She added, her voice descending into a sultry whisper, "I remain intensely curious about those practical lessons in Earth biology you mentioned." Anthony felt his pulse quicken as he drew Roxy near. "Well, it would be remiss of me to deny such an eager pupil," he responded with a grin, their lips meeting in a fervent kiss as the sun dipped below the horizon in a spectacular display of alien hues. Anthony knew his grandest adventure was just commencing. The end? Or perhaps merely the dawn of an entirely new, expansive journey for Anthony and Roxy. And thus, dear listeners, the saga of Anthony Stark and Roxy, a testament that affection can indeed blossom even amidst a flight from corrupt cosmic politicians. Remember, in emergencies, always carry a towel and know the whereabouts of your green-skinned companion. If this cosmic romance resonated with you, consider exploring our forthcoming tales, Wookiee Nights, A Kashyyyk Love Story, and The Klingon's Guide to Interspecies Dating. Always recall, in the vastness of space, every flirtation is audible, especially from a Captain Kirk. May the Force guide you. Live with longevity and prosperity, and forever. So remember where your towel is. It's vital knowledge.